How are you, my friend?
Whoa.
Okay, we're live, and I'm sorry I'm in the car. We're live. Ready, go. Yeah, Jim and Liz, welcome to the show. You are the hosts. Hi.
Hi, be careful. Hi. Don't podcast and drive. What can I say?
Yeah, really. I guess that's illegal. If you can't use your cell phone.
Yeah, but I guess if it's hands-free, you probably could.
You can't use your cell phone to look at the time on it while you're at a stoplight.
Yeah.
You can get a ticket that way.
I believe it.
Yeah, well, I didn't believe it when I found out, but I believe it when I was at virtual court.
How has your week been? How's everything going with our mission?
It's not active that I can tell, but sometimes things are going on that I don't know about.
I saw a lot of licenses come through.
Yeah.
And the bad player got shut down for good. I can't remember the name of it. It begins with an M. And they've been shut down. They also got caught having illegal grows, additional grows that they weren't supposed to have.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I read.
I didn't hear about that.
So they're closed for good.
When did you read about that?
Today's Tuesday.
I just found
out. Yesterday I read it. Yeah, it had to be. If I find the article, it may have been in Marijuana Moment.
Yeah.
If you get that publication.
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in one of them. That's where I read it.
Marijuana. Yeah, it's an old friend of mine, Tom, who runs it.
I remember you telling me that now that you said it.
Yeah, we go back. It'll be 23 years on March 1st. I remember the date.
Seriously?
Yeah, I remember the date.
The wealth of information that is stuffed into that head of yours is ridiculous. It really is. Like we were talking about that last week, that you just, it's incredible what you know and what you remember and the dates and
numbers.
I don't know how you do it.
I remember numbers more than faces. And faces more than names.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I just thought about a second ago and now I can't remember, things like that.
That happens all the time.
But numbers are the way I remember things. Well, yeah, and dates. Like, in other words, if you want to remember the name of the date 1758, the medical home grow bill, I try to have a way of remembering that date, like something in that date. So since I don't know something like that, it'll be like 30 years after Washington was born or something, Oh no, That would be 58. I don't know. That would have been like.
Yeah, it's wild. Now I'm a numbers person as well.
46 years different, but see the thing is, then I got to remember Washington's birthday, and that's not I remember plus 46, which that's at least it's numbers though.
Yeah, it's black and white. It's not subjective. It's objective.
The process really doesn't take a lot of time to remember it like that. And
you have a lot to remember.
Yeah, well, that's probably pretty true.
I'm terrible with names. I definitely recognize faces. Actually, I had to go for blood work this morning, and the girl who drew my blood, she's like, "Do you remember my name?" And I'm like, "No, I'm so sorry." I said, "But I remember your face, and I know you've drawn my blood before." So I'm terrible. Hey, John.
Johnny.
Howdy, y'all.
Good. Happy Tuesday. It's not Monday.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Lefty's on the
Driving.
road, so he just showed his face long enough to say, "You're hosting a podcast." And I'm like, well, if the podcast is like hanging around, like we just ran into each other at like a coffee shop or something, where you can smoke pot, it's more or less that a holding pattern, but
nothing wrong with that either.
well, there was something that seemed in the beginning of a session, the clock's ticking, but people are busy, and but something like getting a bill posted for a hearing really needs to get done in the next 4 weeks, if it's going to have any kind of smooth sailing in the first part of the session. So I do have concerns about that. Getting in touch with the governor's office isn't like, you calling up, you can do that. I've done that, but that's just slower than anything, Only reason I did that was to get a different email address, which is right. Well, you look and you and also go to the Facebook, our governor's Facebook presence, because although you can't open up a conversation or make a comment to the general group, those who can, the people who on that site can do that, put stuff up, you can leave comments. Okay, so I leave comments on something and I try to hook it to whatever it is they're talking about the best I can.
What about messaging? Is that available? Because there's a staffer that's
Well, no, normal email. I don't know about
DMs.
Can you tweet them or X them or whatever it's called now?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have that any of on Facebook only.
Okay.
That's good, because I have all the other stuff except Facebook. So y'all are talking in Facebook, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, right.
Facebook? Like,
I have
Facebook,
Instagram,
and I don't even know how to unblock them.
Well, I did think ahead to the new administration that when we did the Thanksgiving pop-up podcast at the State House, I purpose, I put signs everywhere all the time, whenever we're out to take advantage. And that was purposely 2 signs and 2 signs only on the podcast table, which was not near the rest of the setup where we had stuff being given away. So the picture of this first podcast after 8 years of renovations there, the closer picture of the podcast table, you can see the 2 signs and read them. The one on the left says, "One day we'll be giving thanks for New Jersey medical homegrown." And on the other side, it just says, "Governor-elect Cheryl, medical cannabis patients need your help!" exclamation point. So there's 2 things. It was the entire purpose of that was to take a picture, and if they blew away after that, I didn't care. It was a Thanksgiving. It was, so it was pretty much just, no difference no difference when people go running down to the beach, doing a selfie, and then they shut it off and they go away. They don't even stay at the beach. I'm like, what the hell? First time I saw that, I figured, that's how it's not. But anyway, doing that, because then those are attached to email correspondence. So, if something does get funneled its way to her, I'm usually pretty good about, playing to an audience of 1 with that letter, and it's not Mikey, Cheryl, it's to whoever opens it. The first person that sees it, which way do they send it? It's nobody of consequence. The chief staff doesn't open mail. They open it when it comes into addressed to the governor, without being attention to anybody else. And so those two pictures accompanied the short, what I had to say. And it was to offer her the chance to make good on some statements she made before the election, when she was saying the right things, which is what you do before an election.
Yeah.
On the other hand,
that's what they all do.
Yeah, but I'm hoping they know that. But when it's coming in, the reason I wrote this email the way I did, started out saying, I need somebody let me know when you've got this correspondence when it gets in, and I did. You get a kind of an automatic return, but I want to sure, because see, that starts the clock ticking, and it also shows that you sent.
Right. It's confirmation.
Yeah. So when I mention in the letter that it's a chance to back up what she said before the election.
Right.
The way they translate that is somebody's holding me up against something I said. So if I don't do it, they get to say you're just, saying that to get elected or what. And, she's smart enough, or else people are smart enough, seem to want to avoid that. She starts building up, she's marking her territory with everything she does on Facebook, like,
oh yeah,
oh, here's what I did, and here's what I promised I kept. But
she's big on social media.
Thing is, I was very clear that this is not about whether or not this bill should be passed. It's about whether or not it deserves a chance to get out of the starting gate and take the first step in New Jersey's legislative due process of a bill becoming law. I say that very particularly the same exact way every time, because the due process phrase, New Jersey's legislative due process of a bill becoming law, is not happening going on to its 6th year. And I could say it just finished 5, 6 is a bigger number. So it's starting its 6th year. Everything has purpose. Every word says more than that word itself means, in its own sense. And basically, anyway, that I guess after another week or so, I'll probably just go ahead and put that up out there so people understand what her office is a hold of. Now, here's the beauty of it. It's the lowest of the lowest hanging fruit that there is for her to do. Out of all the hundreds and perhaps thousands of things she has to set about to do and multitask and have everything coming through her and all that, that's a lot. But this isn't a multi-point request. It's a simple request to speak with Senate President Scutari and let him know that you want this to be put for hearing, because she would like the information herself, and she would like other senators to have this information, because when you ask a senator, what do you think of this bill? They should say, I don't know what to think because I don't have the proper information. What I know about it, I've heard other people saying, or I could read the bill, But even when you read the bill, it's sort of like,
no one reads the bills.
Yeah, it's they'll have somebody.
No one reads the bills.
They may have somebody on their staff.
They don't even read the bill.
Yeah, but that person doesn't too.
They just check off. Yep, I read it. Sure.
Well, actually, they are probably able to get stuff done with the help of artificial intelligence. You'd know better than I would probably about that. But there are ways to cheat reading it, looking at it. I mean, just much when the Cliff Notes, I've never used them for tests, but but that would work anyway, just looking at the letter, because this doesn't mean, I'm not asking her to make sure Senator Scutari allows it to be posted. He could say no to her. I can't help that. It's not, I mean, I'm not going to say, how dare you accept no for an answer. But all she has to do is talk to him sends correspondence back. Yes, I have been in touch with him, or I emailed him. Here's a copy of what I emailed him. And that's it. I mean, it wouldn't take her long to figure out, yes, I'd like the bill to be heard. She could deal with this in a minute and a half, and the entire thing is good. And that's ring the bell for another promise kept, that she looked into this for advocates and patients and all. So basically, she could spend twice the time highlighting that she did it than it took her to do it. The promo part about, I just stepped in and made sure this bill that was blocked for 5 years finally got a hearing. Yeah, right. Yeah, I want to write that out and said, so you can say this, and then have somebody go, hey, that would sound good. Let's do that. Let's say that. Just ask. Yeah. But I've had to do it in so many ways, including those pictures. How many ways can I say we've been on the job as best we can? It's not going to happen without help from the top. And or she can let it go on, but this is a healthcare issue. So basically, when you're triaging your efforts, that gets you a little bumped up in the line if it's a healthcare issue, And although it's more of a financial issue because the healthcare part is legal other places, but if people can't afford it, and now if you go out and get it somewhere, you gotta. Well, the bill hasn't passed yet, so you don't yet have to say, I'd like to see your business license and make sure that you're allowed to sell what, I'm at a store. Like a convenience store, and they've got gummies for sale. I'm not going to ask them for their license. But otherwise with the Scutari's cleanup bill for the regulations, he wants power of enforcement. That's what he says is the reason for not having home grow is it's a problem with enforcement. That's his exact words, So anyway, I am making still what I do to pass some time is simply start looking around, see if can I find something else that I can use in the Senator Scutari conundrum. A lot of little things add up to more than he might want to keep up. And then there's always the nuclear option that'll get it a little more.
Go nuclear.
Yeah, well, I've done the nuclear option would be one I've used 3 times in my life, and each time it gets you arrested. That's why it's a nuclear option. So
push the button, Jim.
Yeah, well. When I do, I really do, and I'm going to be close soon to saying, Jim, why did you do that? I'm going to get questions for my purposely vague, absolute plan. Is I have to be able to have a litany of things that I did. I mean, the petition that it's a year old now. The petition on urging Senator Scutari to allow this bill to be posted is probably the only petition ever made asking somebody to allow a legislative bill to be posted in any of the 50 states or federally. I mean, a petition, allow it to be posted. Now, I didn't drum up trying to get signatures. It's got like 300 signatures or something. That's it. But the point is, that's on my list. I had a petition. We did this, we did that, and I've got a pretty good list now. But the thing is, the governor, the new administration is the wild card. When it does get the attention, and there's a lot going on. I can only imagine how much crap people are asking the administration to do and handle, and you got to coordinate. That would be mind-boggling.
But you know what? She has been, like I said, she's very big on social media, and she's very quick to say what she's done already.
Yeah.
And she's very big on it, and she makes the time to do it.
But basically, that's good in her positive sense, but equally important to her is not to have a negative pull. Because that, it's like, it's you fall down while you're ice skating, your score is going to suck no matter how good it did. I'm using the Winter Olympic analogy. And not asking Senator Scutari to post a bill for a hearing, not doing that, the easiest thing she could have done, something that everything that she said beforehand and after the election says that would be something she'd do. She can't have it both ways. And when one is up against the other, it's going to look really bad. So I made that clear. If somebody just reads it, I didn't say, and if not, we'll screw you publicly as we possibly can. That's got to be more. Yeah, that's got to be the inference, you know. And it's it's kind of hard to but also my nuclear option plan, if I could at least get some way of thinking, I might be able to get it to her attention that she's the one that can prevent the nuclear option simply by asking for it to be posted. And then,
what about if we just make a new bill? What about if we just make a new bill? Would that be easier than to get an old bill heard?
No, it's the bill. Old bill's got a new number. I don't know. I guess that's
like a new number every year, right?
Every 2-year session. Yeah. A new bill would have to go through getting some sort of co-sponsorship to even have any kind of chance to be heard. And it could make up a different bill. Doesn't have to take place of this one. I mean, you can have two versions of something out. And of course the adult end of the home grow.
Fuck that adult use
deal.
Just worry about home grow for patients. They got their weed at the dispensary. Let them enjoy that.
Let's say that's what I say that all the time. It's like I'm really
go to the liquor store. You got your liquor there. There's your recreational liquor.
Yeah. And patients,
people that take wine as medicine. They're brewing it in their basement. They don't care. They don't go to the liquor store. That's what the dispensary's for. Oh, you want recreational? Here you go.
Well, and the big thing is, it's one of the big things that when recreational became legal in New Jersey, a lot of the medical strains disappeared. Literally disappeared. A lot of high CBD, low THC, you can't find it. The only one that had it was Breakwater. Before that, Harmony had it, Gordon, everybody had it. Yeah. And now nobody does.
Andrea Rabel makes that point, and her personal reason for home grow, being a patient with epilepsy, she has an interesting twist on it, that there are strains that can actually cause her to have a seizure or bring it on. I don't know if it could cause an effect, but that's a reason for her. The way she finds out is if it's not the strain she knows that works, and she has to get something else, then she's going out there. It's a dark
blind. She's going in blind.
Yeah, and that's not how medicine's supposed to work.
No.
And so
I remember going to Garden State Dispensary when I first got my card and having to try everything. And no, instead of getting like a little pre-roll to try it out, no, I had to buy a $60 eighth. Or if they didn't have that, I had to buy a quarter, $120, $140.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there were no pre-rolls. There were no vapes. Were just starting when I got my card.
Yeah, they gave you the syringes with this tiny little dab of oil in it. And they're like, no, you can't vape that.
Yeah.
And you had to go all the way to Curaleaf to get it. Everybody's driving down to exit 3 on the turnpike.
And we'd love to sell you that $80 quarter ounce, Jim. But we only have 8s, and they're 45 an 8. So I'll sell you 2 8s for $90. And I'm thinking, like, Yeah. Imagine going to a pharmacy and saying, I'm sorry, we're going to we'll put these pills in the same size bottle, but it won't be as many pills.
Right.
I mean, it's
well, that's actually the market.
Or when we used to have to worry about limits, like you go to the dispensary and it's like, oh, we can only sell you a quarter ounce of super lemon haze today because we're shortage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wait, what? A daily limit? You can only sell a quarter?
Yeah.
It's certainly not like anybody envisioned, and
No.
it was wait, because it'll get there. It's not getting there. Worse than that, though, is both patients and adults were told the same thing by Nick Scutari, is we have to get the program up and running first. So that was first said on June 4th. Come on, June 2009. It could be June 6th, though. It could be, I mean, no, it was 4th. And
I love it.
And then adults were told that as they were clamoring for home. I thought it was included. I thought it was good. All other states. Why would you not say beforehand? And that whole thing. But that just went and calmed right down. Nature of the beast. They started getting, and it does. Smoking pot doesn't make you aggressively ready to do something. It doesn't for me generally. So maybe, but adults need to start really clamoring for adult home grow, because that's what's going to get Scutari to drop the home grow for patient grow. Because right now his hope is we can hold off the adults for a little while if you don't give it to the patients. And when it comes to the patients, he's going to try to say, instead of the bill being heard, I'd like to get started right away on a strict pilot program. Now, if he says what he said 4 years ago, where only the sickest and most hurt take part. Well, that's the cruelest thing I've ever heard. When it was when legislators were like, okay, we're gonna figure out who gets it, who doesn't. Oh, instead of doctors, really? Did they learn from that? No. They just didn't learn for that. So now it's like they haven't been able to figure everything out. They're not supposed to figure it out. They're supposed to look to other states. So, and when I, with the Coalition for Medical Marijuana, having 3 poll questions that are going to be, hopefully, if we get them ready in time for a March poll through Stockton. And I guess it's their own poll, or I don't know if they jobbed it out, but it's at Stockton. And it's part of an omnibus poll, because a poll will take you like $25,000 starting if you just say I want a poll. But they'll ask 30 questions, and you can buy a question, 2 or 3 questions. So, and they're about like $800 per question. So if you have one question, I mean, it's doable. And it's to me not a matter of, oh, that was part of an omnibus. None of that, man. If somebody wanted to say, wait a second, that's 3.6% plus or minus, should be under 3. You see, that's what the worry warts at the Coalition are worried about. They're very much everything by committee. I don't fit in, man. That's why I'm president of Sativa Cross. I'm the military person that would get sent to fucking Alaska. That's where you go. If I was in the Navy in World War II, I'd be in McHale's Navy. Where all the that's just. I've always said I'm an equal opportunity motherfucker. I really am. If yeah, right. You're too young to have to know how funny that show was. Oh my God, Corporal Agarn. Yeah. But but to make medical decisions for patients never works out for legislators to do that. And the idea that it isn't simply if your physician recommends it. That's it. Doesn't matter what you got. The whole process says it's not treated the same as other medicines.
Exactly. And how dare they think that they have the qualifications to make the decision on who's the sickest?
Yeah, okay.
That's obnoxious, and it really pisses me off.
What should piss everybody off, right, especially for the patients, there's so many things. I just thought of 3 things that should piss people off, and none of them were what I was about to say. I got this carnival.
We're just a bunch of old stoners.
No, it's like I got this carnival of a train thing with words in it goes by, and if I see it coming, if it's a straightaway and you can see it coming, I'm picking words out like I got it down and had it memorized. But when that thing comes around like a curve and all of a sudden you got to start picking words. You know what I can't do? I can't like do anything extemporaneously. Like, I'm not like the biggest fan of rap music, but I have an incredible admiration for people who can just spit stuff out, man. I mean, that is a talent that's mesmerizing, to me. So it's Scutori needs to be taken on by adults if patients want to get their just due. And the reason I say that is I'm pretty sure the only reason that patients aren't hearing this bill is because if that happened, adult recreational aficionados would say, what about us? And mass, they would rise up again, because that's what happened right after the election. That set people off when so many people thought it was automatic. I gotta say,
I think we're only one of 2 or 3 states that do not have home grow.
Well,
I think Pennsylvania's getting on board with it, or they did. I'm not sure, but
they're still getting on board with legalization. I think I don't even know if they have adult legalization. But Senator Scutori is well on record saying that we need to get the program up and running first. And now that there's been a full year of a pretty good number for revenue into the state treasury, at what point? In other words, you can't say till it's up and running. What
the program's up and running? They're even shutting dispensaries down because they're not making enough money. So, hello.
We got plenty of that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the Mad Hatter right up there, that little dot guy.
Well,
it's closed.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I watched them destroy medicine.
Here's something. When I say something that could be done, and I think should be done, because I just went through this as a reply to something on Facebook. I mean, helpful replies, like, informational, is that the health department had to have year-end reports, which included how many patients there were, for what indications, and it also included how many patients did not renew their cards. And what happens with that is a lot of that was due to they died. There's a mortality rate that was on the list. 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Maybe not 14. Might have started in 2015. But it went through 2018 because it was the law. The law said they had to do this. Then somehow they're not doing it. Maybe they decided, well, we don't. But that was.
You said in 2018 they changed it, right? Well, 2017 was when they changed the law around so that they can add a bunch of new illnesses. So maybe they tweaked it so they didn't have to put it on there.
It's well, the law would have had to be amended for them to not have to do it, or it could be just this typical wink, wink, nudge, nudge sort of stuff that goes on.
Well,
and
probably one of those lines in the bill that no one read.
So the importance, I think, is lost on people. But when I ask people, 22 per day, oh, that rings a bell. 22 per day. What? 22 per day? Yeah, that was the number of U.S. military veteran suicides due to PTSD. 22 per day. That's what got PTSD in. When Don Karpowicz had a 22 per day shirt on, he's going like this, like ready to, Don, he is that guy. I mean, and
I miss Don. I haven't seen him in forever.
I haven't seen him in about 4 or 5. We keep up again through Facebook a little bit. But when he and Philippe Dumais and Leo Bridgewater, I made sure all three, and this was me through coalition, but this was me in coalitions, say, oh, look, we got, I made sure that they got there. I made sure that they, under their testimony was going to be what was, and then when we got there, I saw Senator Diane Allen. She's against medical marijuana. She was in the Senate and voted against it. And now 2016, I came up and I introduced Don to Senator Allen because we kind of knew each other through this enough that she knew who I was. And I was waiting for the fireworks. Here's Dawn. Here she is. There's no desk between them. It's just we're milling about before the start. And I'm like, oh, I'm so cool, man. I pulled the switch on this, get some popcorn if I could. And then she goes, and then she says, well, I am all in favor of this. And I'm, huh? You weren't in favor of new indications like 2 years ago, or a little before that.
Plot twist.
Oh, they get a great picture. They're best friends and everything. But it was 22 per day that got it. Now, I try really hard to extrapolate from what I did know and assume. You got to assume a lot. The first time when there were 6,000 patients, 600 had died out of 6,000. Well, in the beginning, there was people that were just like pretty sick and not going to be helped, and who knew. And then it was about 8% instead of 10 the next year. And I'm thinking, what do I use now as a base number? I'm going for 1.5 to 2%. I don't know what else to say. But if the health department wants a better number, get the number. That number is there to be had. We shouldn't have to estimate the mortal damage being done. We should know what that is, because that's what works for people. And then you find, and then I hate to say it, but I'm probably the one that has to do it, and I really don't want to. But it would be in the best interest of getting the shit done and over with this hearing, to see what Joe Rupatella is up to now. His wife, Diane Rupatella, was one of the 3 patients that was most visible. She had ALS. She's dying. And she was crying, I don't want to die, and, at a press conference. And then when the bill passed, somebody put on, "We are family," at a press conference, and she was singing and happy, and I'll never forget it, and she died. And where's Joe? How does he feel about this?
Yeah.
So, people, and, if Cheryl was later to life and I was, we happened more contemporarily. It would have been the same thing, but she died before the bill, so it wasn't like she could have been helped or anything like that. But there are people, there's people that left behind. And somewhere there's people that would love to represent and say, yeah, he had to make choices between food and medicine. And then he had to decide when to use his medicine. And this is the true story, sadly enough. Had to choose. I know somebody that had to choose when to use his medicine because the pain would be to the point where he couldn't hide it. And he had two little kids. He had to be their rock. And when daddy's crying because he's in pain, you're not being that kid's rock. And he knew it. So, that is so the opposite of medicine and so the opposite of the coalition's catchphrase was because no one deserves to suffer needlessly. And I agree with that. I mean, and it is needless. And it's supposed to be this. There's no real hearings like the regulatory hearings that they used to have in the beginning. I was in a regulatory hearing talking to Reed Goussior, who actually wrote the bill because he met Cheryl and me, and it kind of spun him out a little bit, And so says he. And yeah, I got film of that at the opening thing there where she pointed that out. And that was right after Cheryl died, so I was kind of like being quiet about things then. But yeah, there's people that need to. The reason we read the list, it's other people need to, be corralled, be tied down, have their eyes toothpicked open so they couldn't close them, and be made to watch something and listen to it. It's where are they? And
that's the great thing about politicians these days, that they can just turn shit off and I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
Well, that's the times that I didn't allow that to happen, and there were three. The first one was giving Cheryl a bite of a butt in Jim Rogan's congressional doorway to his office and getting arrested. He couldn't ignore that shit no more. I saw him white, pasty faced being interviewed. Nobody saw what happened. And you see in the tape, okay, the police are there, they walk by Cheryl May, they walk by. And I put that thing up all the time from 98 to NBC News footage. And then they get back in there and the door closes and nobody could see what happened then. And for us, it's like the door closed and wow, it's all these people and the lights and now we're back in. It's like, whoa, And right away, Congressman comes out. Yeah, we got to see him then, and pleading with the police. Can I talk to them first before they're going to be arrested? Okay, listen, And we went in and sat at a pretty good sized table. He had two people there, and there was two of us, three people there. First of all, I wish I had a camera. If you could picture a 5'10" Bill Clinton at about 32 years old, that was his chief of staff. He looked just like him, to the point where in the midst of all this, he comes in and I'm, holy crap, because I know. So I said it really, really slow. You look just to annoy him before getting started. And but anyway, we talked, and he gave us exactly what we wanted and what I thought made it worth everything. Is he pointed out what I wanted pointed out, and he said the reason why Jim Rogan, he was a California assembly person, might have been a senator, I think it was assembly person, and he voted yes when it was trying to get voted in California. He was all about, yes, medical cannabis is great. So in '96, he was all for I'm glad that the referendum passed, and they were, he was very helpful. They sent him to Washington. He got to Washington. he just flipped. He was all of a sudden against it. And he was voting yes on the resolution that said marijuana is a dangerous and addictive drug and should not be used by any state as medicine, legalized, you know. They quoted the Schedule 1 mantra. And so he said that. Then I love the video every time because he was pretty pasty faced in the first place. He's a white guy, and the with brown hair, which even makes him look whiter. If he had blonde hair, it'd get lost, you know. But and he's like, you could see he was almost stabbed a little bit because I did say in committee on record that while I do not support medical marijuana in the main, I would make an exception for people who appear to be in Cheryl's condition. Oh, really? So that's what you're hiding behind? That was the whole point. We need a law. We need a law so it's not up to people to not know that stage 3 cancer might not hurt and doesn't show. You know, oh, you look good. Not for you. Oh,
stage 4 right here.
Yeah, but yeah, right. But Cheryl, oh yeah, obviously, you know, and not for nothing, but I never had so much fun in my life as, first of all, it wasn't bad weather day. Big concern. Everything's about not me. And so the thing is, it wasn't cold, but it was 88 or 89 degrees on March 30th, 1998. And it was predicted to be that. So I knew we had a good day coming, you know. And it was just kind of fun. Cheryl was enjoying it because we still had to walk from behind the building. You know, it's on a corner. And we had to walk up around and up to the door, and there was 19 boom microphones. So I'm assuming 19 TV cameras. You know, that's how you could count because they got everything sticking up. It was so cool. This was her second trip to Washington, and first was an advocacy thing too. But to be slowly walking up the sidewalk with I guess it's a gaggle of press. Well, I don't know what a fucking group of press is called. They should have their own word, actually, you know, a nest. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
I like gaggle myself. I think it should be gaggle.
They were walking back, but you can't walk backwards too fast. So I'm kind of walking, and there's people around and behind us. There's a guy in a tree with a movie camera. There's a guy laying down alongside the sidewalk with a camera up, and we went by, and Cheryl ruined his shot. We went by. She went, she looked down at him. You know, he was hoping that going by. You know, I mean, I know that. And I thought that was funny. And I kind of feel a little bit bad, but I wanted her to realize her power. And I said, you know, for all the times that they didn't show up and we had to do shit because they wouldn't. I walked across the state because they wouldn't show up. Come over to the house, watch her have green butter and get loose. Nah, you know. So I said for all those times, I think we'll make them double time it for a second. And I started walking, and the first thing that happened is one guy tripped, but he couldn't fall all the way backwards because there was other people there. It was like bowling pins where nobody went over, you know. Wow, even I wasn't ready for that. That was like, you know, awesome. You know, and the pleasure of getting into the elevator, but the press had to have their cameras not go through. They couldn't get okay to go in through the metal detectors as quick, and there was a lot of them. So they had USA Today, two Capitol Police in the elevator, and us going up, and we got up and we're like on the 4th floor. or fifth floor. And so I go right away, as soon as the doors open, we stepped out, hesitated a second, and we're ordered, if you have business, you get about your business. And if you don't, you're going to have to leave. And I said, yeah, you see, I got to work these muscles a little bit now, because if I roll even on this wonderful floor, she's going to have a tonic spasm, and we don't want that. And the guy looks at me, and then I leaned in and went, you know what I'm saying, don't you? You know? I mean, you tell somebody something, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm saying we'll move when we want. And then you could hear a stampede. They were running up with their cameras. They were running. They were tired. Beautiful. It was a thing of beauty, walking down the hallway. Which office? I don't even have to know. The deal is, when doors open, when we open doors, that's the office. Couldn't be easier, And then I all but forgot we didn't have any marijuana. We had it coming, but I forgot. Oh, wait, where's Mike Kirshner? The guy with a plaid shirt, easy to see, stands out in a crowd. He was told not to wear a plaid shirt, but you don't tell some people what to wear or not, because he came bursting through saying, Jim, you forgot your talking points. You can't wing it. And he had like a piece of paper folded up twice like this. So he handed me that. And I'm waiting, because there's Capitol Police right there, wall to wall, about maybe 9 or 10. And I put it in the AMP shopping bag, the brown paper bag on Cheryl's lap. I put it in. Yeah. No, right. Well, we didn't have any luggage, And well, we did, but it was like, I have a wonderful picture after all that, getting into the room, and the gold gilded little cart, they put all your bags on it, and then somebody pushes it up for you. And we had five 30 gallon 3 milliliter garbage bags, and that was our luggage, or bag de garbage, I called it, And I got this really cool picture of Chuck Thomas from the MPP tipping the guy. The way it works apparently in motel is the last bag they give you, your bags, and then, or put them down where you want. The last one, they freaking hand you. And that's when you tip them, So it just looked funny for a guy getting a tip holding a garbage bag while he's getting a tip. And I got that picture. It was like really, really cool. And patients shouldn't have to go through that anymore.
No.
And I do have to really recalibrate my participatory willingness. And I feel kind of bothered a little bit that if I was that same person I was then, this deal about the hearing would have been closed already. It would have. It would have. And I know that. And I wish I didn't. It's not the kind of thing. It's not like, well, I like to brag about that and pat myself on the back. That's the part that fucking hurts, because
Did you get charged with weed with those arrests?
Yeah, I get charged with what?
Weed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So got arrested?
Did that get expunged when we were legal?
No, I don't want it expunged. I'm really proud of it.
Oh, okay.
I don't want that one to get long. They'd probably like to expunge it, and we'd like that tape that you have. I keep saying, no, it was, and both court cases were worth it, because the first one was a big deal, because there was half of those news sources were at the court that day on 4/20/98, April 20th. And that's the first time I heard of 4/20. Everybody's going, April 20th. 3 weeks, right? Yeah, 3 weeks. But they explained, what. I said, well, that's pretty cool. That's a charmed trip coming up. But what happened is they wanted to delay the trial. They wanted to postpone it a few hours because the media wouldn't wait around. They'd go somewhere else, and they really didn't want that to happen. So they said the fingerprints weren't good enough and they had to be redone, which I objected to. Well, the court hadn't started, so it wasn't like I object, which I said was wrong because I had a fingerprinter. I mean, I did the best I could, but I had a fingerprinter because they couldn't, because they're afraid to, because I made them look stupid in front of nobody. And I'd love to have that on film. If you're standing, the fingerprint things are, well, in this case, we're at the end of a hallway on a wall, and it's right about this high. In other words, they hold that. So when you're in a wheelchair, it's that high.
Yeah, it's not handicap accessible.
Now, what happens is if you move Cheryl, and she's gonna contract all the muscles, and in this case she wasn't tied into her chair because it didn't need to be, and I knew that would happen, and I said I need to do this. I'll do this. I'll do the best I can. It's not going to work for you. And they thought it would be like we'll lift her hand up.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works.
No,
you go up with it.
yeah, come back down. So, but it was to be right there, to be able to look somebody in the eye and say, all right, Cheryl, assume the blast off position, which meant with what she could hold on, And I know what is that, like gimp talk, called the blast off position? What the hell? And when they did that, I said pretty loud, blast off! And I tilted the chair back. So all of a sudden, she's like this, falling back into the chair, And so then, they let me try, And but I knew how to and what to do after I tied her, and they couldn't get rid of us quick enough. So what they should have. They made we had to show up for court though, and we showed up, and she had a lawyer, I had a lawyer. We're ready to roll, man. And Channing Phillips, the state attorney in charge of it, after we got back from 4 hours it took to get her walking through this labyrinth of a tunnel to where you could do it as opposed to outside. The whole entire procedure, I got mugshotted too for some reason. I would pay money for those mugshots. I mean, they got to be somewhere, right? Yeah. So because
you should call and ask them.
Yeah. Well, even then it was like. They actually have a number, on a long number, and it was stuff like the Cheryl that they hold the number out for her, and she can't hold it. So you had a whole lot of fun with them like that. And when we got back, only Fox News was there, and Fox was like a new news station then, right about then. I mean, it's first I'd heard about it, and they stayed, and I said, "Why'd you stay?" And he goes, "It's called an exclusive. We like that." Oh, okay. They're the last one standing or waiting. So weren't we surprised when, after all that, Channing Phillips, he was being Lord. Channing Phillips said, "No, they're not going to press charges. No charge. They're just dropping it." And while the few people that were with us let out a hearty yay, the other 75 sober people, and it wasn't like they were all facing the same way. It was like around a raised bench, but it was a pretty weird, large thing. And I heard it. Before I could stop it, I let out a really long no, and which shut everybody up, and then it's quiet. And it was like being possessed in a nice way where, oh, now I got to follow this up. So I looked up and I'm Johnny Phillips. You knew that we didn't need to come down here. Don't you tell me that we had to come down here, drive through 3 other states, cause her pain, could be arrested because I got pot right now in the car. You can arrest me if you want, you know. We had to do all that. And now we got to go home. You know what? Maybe we're not going to leave. You know, maybe we're not going to leave. Now, Cheryl, she's pretty weak even to have long conversations, and don't use compound sentences because it has brain lesions and it takes her a little longer to think, you know, when things like that. So anyway, but I was so pleasant in that when I did that, it was quiet. So you could hear her voice and she went, maybe we won't. You know, I said, maybe we're not going to leave until you do arrest us. And then she goes, maybe we won't. Oh, it's so cool. But then the judge, the magistrate, looked over at Cheryl and said, Cheryl, if you don't agree to leave, I'm going to have you placed under arrest for contempt of court. But you won't charge me, will you? She's smiling, going, you won't charge me. Think about it. You're a judge. You're used to, you deal with lawyers trying to get shit by you. That's your job. And then a woman like Cheryl just ended the conversation. And so then I realized I was real happy because what do? I'm not just going to waste this moment. I don't want to march out. I want to say something good. And I said, I'm sure the court has heard these words before, but not in this particular order. Today is your lucky day. We've agreed to show mercy upon the court and leave. You know, and it was such in retrospect, such an alpha thing to do. And I'm not that guy. I mean, I'm not that guy. But to all of a sudden, I mean, I couldn't say, hey, is this a 180 or what? So, yeah, today is your lucky day. We're out of here. And then I thought things would be different, you know, only because that kind of ignited something. The Marijuana Policy Project, who had been in existence for maybe 2 years, and they tripled their membership in the next like 4 weeks or something. And back at the office, they were. Can you hold, please? Okay, can you hold? They were all of a sudden, networks were calling from all over the country, and this is like, you know, before. I mean, we just got back to the office a couple hours later. And I thought, wow, that worked. And then on the way out the next morning from this nice motel, so Mr. Miller, because I already checked out and I wasn't going by the desk. And, you know, it's about 15 feet to my right as I was walking by it. He said, we've got some USA Today's left over. You're on page 6. Would you like them? On page 6. How are you, USA Today? Yeah. And we walked out, first person walking by, a woman in a business attire, looked over at Cheryl and says, I saw you on the TV last night. Good for you. I mean, all this was going on. And then 6 months later, I got a call and said, yeah, I'm trying to remember. No, it's a patient's name. And this is bad because I know her really, I'm looking at her right now. Anyway, an MS patient had gone into Congressman, Senator's office, I think it was then. Can't remember his name. And lit up a joint because she didn't want Cheryl to be the only person that would go represent by getting arrested in Washington. So she traveled from Michigan to Washington and got arrested for smoking a joint. And I thought, oh, wow, man, a trend, a rite of passage.
Wow.
You know, would you like to go do this? I mean, I thought that we'd opened a door. And you know, and they got a little heavier with her because they realized, I think somebody there has gone, listen, you know, we can't make this one easy. So she had more sanctions, but I think it was probably because she smoked it as well. It wasn't just so benign as eating it. But I understood somebody went back there from Students for Sensible Drug Policy to ask for a statement from Bill McCollum's office. And they said it stunk. They said you could smell it in the hallway. He said it smelled like a college dormitory because of doing that. So I don't know why, but I guess the reason I'm talking about, just one, it's somewhat topical, but two, we need to do something like that. We need to do something different, you know. And I'm willing to
why don't we go to Scutari's office in Linden when it gets warm and plant plants outside his house?
Well, actually, the first time, if we can't get 50 people there, I mean, if the Coalition for Medical Marijuana, the New Jersey Home Grow Coalition, Minorities for Medical Marijuana, if we can't get 50 freaking people outside his office for the regular signs, just to have that's the warning shot. Let this be where it ends, Senate President. Let this be where it ends, because it's not where it'll end if you don't let the bill be heard.
Then set it up.
Yeah, and then
let's go.
Ask Frank Pallone what's possible. Frank Pallone would tell you, came to my house with Cheryl's wheelchair after she died and put a sign in it that said, "Here lives Congressman Pallone. He lied when his wife died, and people are still laughing at me," or whatever. It's like, oh, there's no way around that. The Patriot Act didn't protect him. That's actually that was pretty much the foregone conclusion, And
I'll be right back.
Yep. So anyway, that really showed me something, I mean, it's kind of like what we all know now, and between Lefty and Bongholio and everybody, it's sort of like, yeah, you get to show up, you do, but you can't put that genie back in the box. Just the fact that, and I know from people that know Frank Pallone, that his wife kind of runs things, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, maybe she's better at stuff. I'm not making fun of him at all, but
is that the mayor from Long Branch? Pallone?
No, well, I don't know. He could be mayor there. You can do more than one thing. He's a congressman still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the letter I wrote to the governor, and it'll go through at least 2 people before she would even see it. I had to credential myself, and I said, well, just Google search to credential me. Your best bet is to Google search Jim Miller, medical marijuana, New Jersey, those keywords, and start peeling back the onion. It'll And then I said, and I can also say that 2 of your colleagues, meaning Mikey Sherrill, is a congresswoman, and had to resign from that to be governor. And 2 of her former congressional colleagues from New Jersey can vouch for my tenacity and dedication to details and getting stuff done. Well, that's quite a thing to say. In other words, out of all the stuff that's coming in, I'm relying on stuff like, okay, somebody's saying these 2 congressmen will vouch for him. It's real easy to prove that's bullshit by simply saying, hey, would you do me a favor and just tell them, see if they know, I mean, would she, or would she say nobody would do that? That's my guess. It doesn't matter either way. I should have said a third one too. See, the problem is, if it got into detail, it'd be like, yeah, well, he, picketed my house and we didn't get to go to church the next day because we would have had a ride right by him. And he knows it. And or Chris Smith, who's a Republican, he's been there forever, and Governor Sherrill would know that this is not a man who supports anything to do with cannabis. So how's he going to vouch for Jim? Well, he's going to say, I couldn't stop anywhere in public without him showing up and ruining whatever I was going to do for a year. I mean, I'd go there and I'd have the wheelchair with the sign on it, and I'd show up, and if it was outdoors, if it was indoors, if he's meeting constituents, we'd show up and get in line, and Cheryl in line. You know what happens? We get in line to see somebody. I'm in a line. Actually, there's an office and a line. You know, not like in a room where you raise your hand and you're next. It's, oh, would you like to come up first? Yes, we would. Thank you. Really appreciate that. And and then the fact that I brought Cheryl's funeral flowers back to his office in Whiting because I was still in my suit, and I brought this nice big funeral flower wreath from National Normal sent it. And I walked on in and said, flowers for Congressman Chris Smith, you know, and I looked like a flower delivery. So the chief of staff, Loretta Charbonneau, she was in her back office. So I was happy because I didn't know anybody in the front office. And they like, oh, they're so beautiful. Oh, I said, where shall I put them? Over there, it'd be fine. Okay. And I started to walk out. And then they said, oh, these are so wonderful. Are you sure you're in the right office? And I turned my demeanor, whole different expression. Oh, I'm in the right office. You tell Loretta, Jim Miller was just here. So, you know, that happened. And then I ran into him literally. He ran into me in his office twice because I went down there every Wednesday because Cheryl's going to have a memorial at the Supreme Court and a lobbying day and a congressional press conference. I got to run with Barney Frank. And, you know, so in doing that, I'd go to offices, and I went into his office for the first time after that because I would always see him up here. And I couldn't believe my luck. You know, there's like a desk, and then, but it's kind of open here, and there's traffic, people walking this way here, office doorways apparently there and around the side, and one person at the desk, and I walk up in, and I'm allowing somebody to walk in front of me, and I look, and there's Chris Smith. There's a copying machine. He just had something, and he's kind of looking at it as he's walking by. And, you know, I would have got a penalty if it was a basketball game, but I set a stationary pick, you know, and he walked right into me. I mean, like bounced off me a little bit. And then I handed him what I had to hand to him, which was a funeral card and a program of Cheryl's funeral, like what went on. And he really didn't know what to say. And he also, Congressman Rob Andrews, that did this for both him and Palone, he had said to me through email, I believe it was, that yeah, he would talk with Rob Andrews, because when one congressman says, listen, I agree, I'm signing Barney Frank's, he had a medical marijuana bill that wasn't going anywhere, just like we still have now. And when Rob Andrews met Cheryl and me and then changed his mind and said he was going to sign on, and then he I met with him 2 weeks later. I forget what for. Oh, that's probably just in Washington. And he said, "Here's a copy of the letter." He had a letter, but he gave it to me. It didn't even come in the mail, you know. And he said, it said, I was moved to change my position on this issue when you spoke with me in my office, with blah, blah, blah. And that's a kiss of death, political death. It's a flip-flopped. You know, the whole thing. Flip-flop, I make decisions, I stick to him. He was moved to change his position. And he pointed that out. And he said, but I'd appreciate it, and it's up to you. But if you simply give them a copy of this and see if you can ask them to come talk to me. And I'm like, well, yeah, Congressman Frank Palone didn't talk to him. That's why I picketed his house. Chris Smith didn't talk to him. Now I'm like, you know, what do you want to get everybody in trouble? It's not working, dude. But what got me was he pushed by me and he went about 15 feet this way and about 35 feet to an office that already had a door open there. And I noticed that there was three guys in suits having their meeting with the congressman in his office, and that's where he was going with whatever he's. Let me make copies, guys, and they look so happy. I mean, you could see they were happy, they were loose. Their day was awesome. He comes storming back in and slams the door shut, and I'm thinking, "Ooh, that's gonna put a little hurt in her day, I guess." And then almost immediately, door swung open, he pops out and he starts screaming at me from 35, 40 feet away, screaming at me. I don't have to talk to anybody to know what I feel about something. And everybody was just like freaking shocked. And then I couldn't but help but try not to smile, because these three guys all had the same, literally jaw dropped, like looking like that, like they were posing for a picture, because they were. And I realized I did have a little bit degree of power. And then I learned one of my first biggest lessons. His chief of staff was right up front, came right over to me, said, "Come sit with me for a second. The seat's right there." Well, I'm still a little bit, whoa. And she looks at me in the face and she goes, "Let me tell you our version of this." What just happened? Our version. She might have said mine. The version's the word that I'm absolutely certain of. The version of what happened, because I'm like, version. Oh man, I have a better version. I wanted to have a different version too. Says, now you that hit, and then you insulted him, and he responded in kind. Yeah, but I learned something. Now he would have been good if he there, except for 2 weeks later, same door. And when I opened it, he was coming out. I mean, he was right there. And I stepped in, like, boom, boom. And then I handed him what I had to hand him. He didn't say a word. And I felt almost nervous, and I gave him room to slip through. I mean, I didn't want to be, like, physically blocking him. And he looked like really scared, I mean, he just hustled away. That was the last time I saw him. Of course, if I was on my game, I would have said 3 of your colleagues to Mikey Sherrill. I forgot former minority leader in the Senate in New Jersey, Tom Kaine Jr., governor's son. Yeah. Well, he's a congressman now. He would have vouched for me. He'd say, yeah, what did I do for him? I heard he was on a beach walk. He's running for United States Senate. I guess the Booker seat, I guess. Or I must have been, because we don't have that many changes. But that he was doing that. It was 2003, and I went there. I thought it was at Lavalette, and everybody knows Lavalette, but I got a little boardwalk along there and a beach, and I'm thinking he's having a thing on the boardwalk area. No, he's doing a freaking beach walk. So he's on the beach, not way down, pretty close to there, and there's a semicircle of people around him, maybe 100. So I had Cheryl's memorial wheelchair. I had jeans on and a shirt. I wasn't like bathing suit or nothing, like business, and whatever sign I had, I came up in the back of the semicircle, and then somebody tapped me on my shoulder, and it was somebody, a reporter, I guess, because they had a pad and they were asking, "What's your name?" And I was like, "I want to talk to you later." Oh, okay. Meanwhile, he can see the sign. He can see me talking to the guy with the pencil, and I'm just standing there. And then he starts his beach walk. And I got a picture of the wheelchair set up because there were some surfers that thought it was pretty cool. I asked them if they had anything to smoke, because I could really use a smoke. And really laughing because of the sign, But he walked up to a blanket and had a guy with him, an older guy. And he walked up to a blanket, two blankets with like 6 people on them, one spot. And he goes walking up. He's going to go engage. And I went up like right next to him. right next to him. So we walked up together and stopped. Meanwhile, there's probably 3 guys, 3 girls. I'd guess their age to be early 20s, late teens. You know, they're more old. And he starts talking. Hi, my name is Tom Kane Jr. I'm a New Jersey senator. I'm running for the United States Senate. And I interrupt and go, hi, I'm Jim Miller. And as you can probably tell, I'm not with Tom Kane. And I started talking, and they all looked at me. He kept talking. 6 people looking at me, and he's talking to them, and they're not even looking at him. Then I walked over with them elbow to elbow to the next one. I said, I can keep this up all day. And I've walked across the state before, you know, done that. And
I'm Jim Miller, and I support this message.
and I kept saying all I wanted was 30 seconds. I had a cassette recorder, one I could fit in my pocket, and I wanted 30 seconds of his time. That's all. And he wouldn't do it because he was too busy trying to talk to people.
30 seconds.
Oh,
God.
Yeah,
oh, man.
Yeah, right. But to say I don't want to talk to you because I'm too busy trying to talk to people.
And you're people.
Yeah, people. So I said,
well, those people must have been planted. He must have had his people filter him out like, oh, yeah, sit over there on the beach. Here's your script.
But he was in the wrong. He didn't have an area fenced off to play in. He, playpen, So what happened is I said, listen, I can see you don't want me walking along with you the rest of the day here, so I'm going to leave. But, be careful what you wish for, though, meaning. So I walked up the direction he was going, and I started handing out information ahead of him. I was poisoning the well. So no matter where he stopped, they'd already know my problem. And I'm the guy with the wheelchair. He's just the guy with his shirt sleeves rolled up. And I had major success when one guy said his father just died of cancer, and it was really good for him. And he's pretty upset about what I had to say. And I said, well, see the guy there with the sleeves rolled up? And man, he was like a block away then. That's him. And the guy gets up and he goes storming off there to do my dirty work for me. So he goes up and interrupts what he's doing. And Tom Kane was facing me, and because he walked up from this way, and I waved at him and went like that. And then I went to the train station because it was his next stop. And he had a list of where he was. Yeah, right. That's when they go and they wait for a train to get in, and they greet people getting off because they're local and they're doing that. That's the way it works. So I was up there. I was half an hour ahead of time at least because, I needed a rest. And then a car, an SUV, came in, didn't fit. Nobody getting in or out. Drove away, and he never showed up. So he had to adjust his schedule. I figured I'd win. So anyway, long story longer. I had really good references waiting. And there has to be that backup. And I would say, one, we need to find out and somebody who will take on the task of dealing with the health department. Normally it's just a call, I don't even mean one of us. I mean, it's sort of like some people like doing that sort of thing. And I suppose I could.
Who's calling the health department?
Yeah, well, I mean, basically it's, I'm going to write down the problem and, all about the 2018 and what that, and, so basically it'd be like a cheat sheet, what to say. Well, here's the problem, and we're going to be needing that. And, it shouldn't take having a dozen people at the next CRC meeting all asking the same thing to get you to do this, because the health department itself is the one that would do it. The CRC, they work together, but they're different. They have different purposes. So it would be up to them to do that.
But same. Different.
Yeah, they're on the same plane, but they're not really working in sync with each other. And I just don't really have it in me to start having to do all of that by myself anymore. I really don't.
No, I get it. You're tired.
And,
You've been doing this fight for a long
well,
time.
but this is the matter of it. It doesn't take a skill set. It's and if it reaches a dead end, then it's a dead end, and then it is CRC. But that's one of those things that need to be done before really upping the ante. And I guess that getting towards the end of upping the ante would be like, is Linden office.
I drive past there every day.
Yeah, it's I've never been there. I've seen it from when Lefty was there, and then I've looked at it on Google Earth. So I kind of,
yeah, there's a convenience store across the street. I think it's an Eagle Mart, and you can't wear hoodies inside there.
Oh,
they're banned.
Wow.
So if
nice.
I go in there like this, they won't let me in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I better.
Lefty did a video on that, I think.
Wow.
Now, can you wear the actual hoodie as long as the hood's not on?
I think so. Yeah, you just can't have the hood up.
Yeah. Okay, it's the dividing line part of me. How about if I put it up to the top of my back of my head, but not actually over? Where on the head does it have to stop? I mean, yeah. And whoa, everybody disappeared.
Mm.
Okay, my screen. I have Bong Holio 420 Maryland.
Yep, and the rest of the screen is black.
Yeah. Okay, everybody's is.
We're just here. You just can't see us.
Damn it, Lefty.
I don't know. Maybe Lefty has decided it's time to call it a night.
That could be. Hold on. I got a short phone. I got to take you. Give me like 15 seconds. I'll be away. I can't.
Oh, we're back.
I'm not away. Yeah, I was just gonna plug the guitar and then blast it a little. Damn it. Trying to remember which AC/DC song I like to do.
Hell's bells.
Oh,
there's two dots.
I see, Mikey. Wow, I feel like I'm the opposite of humble if I talk too much. Thing is, it's all for a purpose, Oh, no.
No.
Tonight's Stanford, huh?
Sorry.
You're surprised to find us here still, aren't you?
No, he's not.
We found things to listen to. Yeah. So what's up with Cranford tonight?
There's a dance party in Cranford.
Oh, it's a dance party.
We're going to Cranford
Yeah,
tonight?
real Philly.
Nice.
A dance party. I've been to a dance party at the Jefferson Memorial. Yeah, Adam Kokesh.
Oh,
Crazy.
we go to St. Michael's and then the meeting.
So the dance.
Sorry, Mikey.
Yeah.
I'm seeing your comments.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know if you got I put it in the chat. I'm fine. I have no active cancer. We are golden. And I've been that way for 4 years.
We got to get ourselves back to the garden. Well, I hear we are golden.
And thank you for the
I hear
comment.
musical references. I can't. So what's the dance party going to be? Oh, wait a second. Oh, hey, okay. I know it's almost like conversation. Mikey, or Bong Holio 420. One time I did a deep dive for those mugshots for you and couldn't locate them. I wanted to give them to you. Oh, did you?
How sweet, right?
Wow, you know what? This is one of those cases. You hear it all the time, but it's like, that's the gift in itself, dude. I appreciate it. It is. That's wonderful. They might have been bad mugshots. They have to still exist. I don't know how to.
Maybe on microfiche.
You know what? I'll see if I can put somebody from Marijuana Policy Project on it, because they were the ones that made sure that I got arrested properly.
It's always good to have somebody having your back when you're getting arrested to make sure. Yeah.
Like Lefty when he got arrested in Linden. Guitari's up in the Bell House watching, like, yep, I planned that.
Oh boy, that was a shit show.
That wasn't funny.
No, it's not. So why am I laughing?
Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon. Yeah, what's the statute of limitations on that? 20 years?
That was almost like 10 years ago.
Another 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
We might not be here. We might be on the list in 10 years.
Yeah, it might be on the list now. Yeah. Well, that was something. Yeah. And then he got. Well, but what? Okay, yeah. Okay with it as long as you can see shit. So security camera. Yeah. What was your court thing after you got arrested at Scutari's office?
I had four different prosecutors. 4 different prosecutors, and I busted all their balls. I went in there filming them. I was filming them. I was busting their chops. They didn't like me at all.
If you're going to walk by the camera, Kathy, you're supposed to wave. We have a rule.
Did anybody wave to me?
What's that?
Did anybody wave to me?
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Lefty. I don't know why, but Kathy doesn't seem to be able to get on. Doesn't seem to be getting on.
I used to be able to get on my phone.
Yeah, she could get on her phone and get on the podcast.
But now it won't work.
Yeah, now what used to work doesn't work. Does that make sense to you, Lefty?
No.
You need
Don't.
the link.
What kind of phone?
What kind of phone? Oh, wait a second. I'm plugged in. No, I'm not.
It's just a, I don't know, what kind of phone is it?
It's the same kind as mine.
An Android.
Okay.
And like before, I was always getting on. I mean, I don't care if I see you when I hear it, but now I'm not getting anything. Like,
Sorry about that. Dogs
Maybe
were
you have to
barking.
unsubscribe and resubscribe. Sometimes that happens.
Doesn't he have to do that?
Yeah.
Doesn't Lefty have to do that? Because I never did that to begin
What
with.
did you used to do?
I would
pick
go
up your
to
phone and
I'd go to Facebook. First, I'd go to Facebook and look for you.
She's pointing at you, Lefty.
Yeah, and you would be on because it'd be a little circle, and then I would just click on it and go to you, and the whole thing would be there. Everybody would be there. So I don't know what
I'm
happened.
such a child. I'm sorry. I'm playing.
We'll have to send you the StreamYard link on Facebook.
And that's what it was. That's what it was.
I have that. That's how I get on.
Well, it's not letting me.
Maybe you change the link, you know?
Oh, this is great. Yeah. The police in Linden were so stupid.
No, maybe you don't know Kathy and computers. No, she didn't do that. By the way,
You're fine.
I want to go right out there and say thank you, Lefty. I'm sure it crossed your mind too to say something like, "Okay, listen, Jim asked me not to let you on. Okay, I'm sorry," because you would have got her good.
I got to find that video. When I got arrested, I had a video camera in my pocket.
I remember that. I was watching it.
I recorded in the jail cell.
Recorded what?
That was great.
No, what'd you record? What?
In the jail
got
cell.
arrested in Linden.
Oh,
I recorded everything in the jail cell.
You didn't save that somewhere?
Yeah, I have it somewhere.
No, you uploaded it.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell.
It's on that video. And then there's me and Michelle and Lefty smoking at the end outside the police station.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that would be awesome.
And when me and Michelle were sitting in the waiting room, we looked up and they had the catwalk there, and Scutari was looking down at us. And me and Michelle were getting frantic about Lefty taking so long.
Yeah. Well, I know. Oh, Chris was your ride back, wasn't he, Lefty? I remember. Why were we waiting for you to get back from wherever you were? I remember that. We were just trying to make sure if you needed a ride. That's what it was. Yeah, we didn't know if, we didn't know if you were left high and dry or anything. That's what it was. Never mind. Yeah. Wow. Hey, old days, huh? I get this on. I hear better with these.
So this concludes our podcast.
Oh, come on. Johnny does it better than you do.
This
Johnny.
concludes our podcast.
Yeah, he has the right cadence. Yeah, he got the cadence down.
Well, thank you, Mad Hatter. Thank you, CMMNJ, UFCW, Arlo Glass, OprahMachine.com, and SativaCross.org. And I happen to have a bell. Yes, be donating. Be donating. Johnny, you have a bell? Look at you.
I have a bell.
Oh, he's got a better bell. Bigger, better bell.
Bitter, better bell.
Are we really going to go there?
Does it make the bell better?
The big, beautiful. They got a big, beautiful bell. That's what it is.
I got a big Brazilian bell.
No.
Mikey, can you please put the music video on your channel? I'd love to see how the music video does with Bongholio in the wheelchair. I think people would be like, what the heck is going on here? Because a lot of people haven't seen that. That only's been seen by like maybe 2,000 people, 3,000, I think, at the most.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I don't recall seeing it.
What?
I don't think I'm one of those.
Yeah.
I think I can remember. Okay, but in a wheelchair, Bongholio. How does that work? Like,
the physics are amazing. The physics are absolutely amazing. The engineering that was done and the art.
Well, you could look up.
Notch, man.
Yeah, but then if he's back there, you could go to the bottom and look up his bonghole.
I have videos where I'm looking at his bong and he's naked.
That's what I'm saying.
In Edison.
You could look up Bongholio's bong.
In Edison? Oh, I have to see that. I have to see it.
Oh man. I can't erase it from my mind.
No, it's pretty scary, and it's a good way to. Yeah. Let's go to the list with some happy thoughts, but this list is going to make you sad. You can be as happy as you want right now, but this list, it'll fuck you up. It's going to fuck up your happiness. I'm sorry.
Well, before you do that, you want to make sure.
Put that in my pipe and.
Where you at? Were you listening to what we were doing while you were driving, or not? Because
I was listening. I was having a hard time hearing because my stereo is not plugged into the phone.
Well, it's time to do a standard run of the mill gathering at Scutari's office at the homegirl bill and get her. I mean, a normal. I'll make the signs. You know how it goes. Show up and do it. And it doesn't have to be like screaming and yelling. Just showing up and having fun and smoking some pot and hanging out at his office. But you don't know. The media may be interested in that. Because it is going on, and anything to do with that.
Go across the street and wear hoods in the convenience stores.
The thing is, we'll have signs asking the governor for help. Help basically that could help get her involved if we can get one picture like that into the media, and don't think that would be the one that they would go for. Because if I make a lot of the signs. I know exactly which one they're going to go for because I make it to that purpose.
Do it, Jim.
Yeah, but and Lefty, we'll have to be a call to arms. We figure this out. I would say try to make it a Sativa Cross Coalition for medical marijuana event, and I probably should offer the Home Grow Coalition, which I know you won't be really wanting to do, but to they and
Why don't you tie in a burn up, clean up too while you're at it too? Get everybody in there.
how many? Yeah, something. Yeah, well, we could probably just clean up right around there. We can police the area while we're
Wait,
here.
hold on. That's my neighborhood. That's my area. Hold on. You need special permits for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, okay, but we could do that until somebody stops. You know.
They won't stop us. They'll encourage us. Be like, keep going.
Yeah.
Like, wait. We got some more back here. Come on.
But we have to do that because you've done it before, but it can't, there should be people willing to travel out there. What time of day? What does it take to get people out there? Well, lunch hour. Yeah, that's a good idea because adults do have that option of exchanging, So it could almost be a tree weed dance party or whatever,
I like the way you think, Jim.
Just make sure there's accessibility.
Yeah,
right.
Rampador. but simply designed with seeing if we can get that the governor involved in, because if it's all about posting the bill for hearing, not about co-sponsorships for the other bills or anything, and I think adults should want to go there to screw him, just whether they're patients or not. But in doing so, we'll be helping adults because this will get that on the board too. And I can really see that thing just like enough traction to slip right down the hill. I mean, out of nowhere. It's possible, but it's going to take the governor getting involved and emails and phone calls and finding somebody that might put it. No, it has to be to where everybody knows that she knows. That's what's going to do it. Because, oh my God, all these people saw the sign, Governor Cheryl, help. Patients saying help. Just talk to this maniac, Scutari. We could have a really clever, good, short focal point, the purpose of the gathering, and it's sort of like the lowest common denominator possible. It's everybody will understand. It's about the hearing. It's like ending the censorship of the good of this bill. In other words, a good bill being hidden right in plain sight. It just has to be heard in committee, and that's it. So it shouldn't take an effort like that to get that done. Is going to be the public's perception. Why would
maybe it does?
Yeah, maybe it's us. Yeah, well, I got to tell you.
All right,
maybe
guys. Let's begin our list. Our list begins with Cheryl, Sabina, Diane, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Holly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Patty, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, Lawanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, Gary, Julia, Wayne, Waxy, Joe Marie, Jeff.
Miss them all.
You know, this time it just pissed me off.
Of course it did.
No, I mean, just pissed me off. I got no tears. I'm just pissed. And I'm really fucking happy about it. Because I was a combination of scared and angry for everything I ever did for the person I need to resurrect now, you know?
Mhm.
I got to bring back Jim Miller. There's no space in my alter ego, Jim Miller. It's one word. You know, Jim Miller, Jim Miller, Jim Miller. He's a bold and adventurous man. Or was it Jim Bowie? His name, but, you know, Jim
John Miller.
Yeah. But yeah, that you know, it'd be fun. Gather guitars. It's the weather thing now. It's not like, well, let's see. You know, I mean, it would have to. I'm guessing good five weeks from now or so. You know, it shouldn't be that it's cold and shitty and 7 people show up. You know, I want to take the weather away. Could try pitching a tent. I mean, I'm sure that would be a no. But see, even doing stuff, it's like, okay.
There's no room for a tent. His
Rather,
lawn,
Mhm.
lawn is like 5 feet big.
Gentlemen, I'm going to hop off because it's
Yeah.
time to cook some dinner. Thank you so much.
All right.
And I will see you all on Thursday.
We will be there.
Thank you, Liz. Liz lights up. Liz lights up. Liz lights up.
Lights up.
See you all Thursday.
No. See ya. What are you gonna puke?
Yep, it's the 3 amigos.
Yeah. What's up, Lefty? We gotta remember the ode.
We didn't do it last week.
Oh, you're muted. Muted.
Okay.
Okay.
See you next time.
They shall not grow old as
They shall grow not old as we that are left
We that
grow
left grow
old. They shall not
They shall
weary
not
nor
weary
the years condemn. At the
condemn.
going down of the sun in the morning, we will remember them. Oh my God, you! I don't know. There's we can't know.
Good better. All right, man.
We have to work on this. I'm not going to say. We'll talk next week.
Yeah,
We'll talk
we will.
Thursday.
We'll talk before that.
Every time we